What's up everyone? Welcome to another installment of my video encyclopedia. And today we're talking about GABA, which has a lot of popularity and connotation attached to it, especially related to sleep. What I want to start with is if you take a GABA supplement, it does not cross the blood-brain barrier. However, the outcomes that you would want from taking the GABA supplement still tend to happen. So what that tells us is that the digestion and having some GABA post-digestion in your blood is going to interact with time clock proteins in your organs of the viscera and elsewhere in the body that communicate upwards to the brain that it is in fact nighttime. And that's how the GABA supplement works. That gives us a lot of insight actually into what GABA actually does. And it's actually a love triangle scenario. It's not GABA itself that does all that much. So, if you've already watched a ligand video, you know that glutamate is going to bind to its receptor and what's generally going to happen. GABA comes from right field, and when it's activated through its receptor ligand interaction, it's actually changing the glutamate receptor's shape and geometry to make it act a little bit differently. This has a U-shaped curve, meaning the low to medium doses of GABA intervention will modulate the glutamate receptor to make things less sensitive to glutamate. And glutamate's excitatory, which is why the low doses are typically recommended to help you go to sleep, and most sleepy supplements have an interaction with GABA or GABA-A, a specific subset of the GABA receptor. Now, the medium doses, as we get to the middle portion of that curve, in a lot of people can actually be excitatory, especially to the cardiac tissue and tissue elsewhere in the cognitive world, because it'll actually increase for a small period of time the amount of glutamate secretion. Lastly, as we travel down the curve, the whole phenomenon starts over cyclically, and the GABA effect on the glutamate receptor is going to be more pronounced. So now when this GABA super high activity is apparent, the glutamate secretion is not only on the decline because it's already secreted more than it could, it's also not binding very well. And that as a whole is how you can understand GABA's usefulness in falling asleep, but GABA itself is not actually putting you to sleep. It's a synergist and accessory to what's already going on upstairs.